Everybody, and welcome to the Responsible AI Report from the Responsible AI Institute, where we are speaking with some of the leading voices in responsible AI. I'm very excited. We have Jeff Redel joining us today. Jeff, thanks so much for joining us on the show.
Thanks for having me today, Patrick.
It's great to have this conversation with you, Jeff. Of course, you are the managing director of the data and AI governance team at ATB Financial. And ATB has really been a valued member of the Responsible AI Institute for some time now. You have been with us through our growing pains as we've been discovering what is this wide world of AI? What does it look like? And it's really been incredible to evolve as the years have progressed as well as we are going into 2025, into a new year, and looking ahead at where things are continuing to develop. And I would love to start there with you, Jeff, for our conversation today. A recent Forbes article was exploring how AI is evolving from these simple generative tools to much more sophisticated agents capable of executing much more complex multi-step workflows like running marketing campaigns, managing data, and even negotiating branch locations as well. So while experts believe that AI will augment rather than replace human work, they predict that it will take around a decade before AI agents can fully handle all the business processes that are being developed. I would love to get your take on this and kind of where the future of AI agents looks like. How can we ensure ethical and responsible implementation of AI agents, specifically in banking, as they become more autonomous in decision making?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I think one of the benefits we've had with our 4-year relationship with the Responsible AI Institute is really helping ensure that you have a foundation set up before you start implementing the AI technology stack, especially with the powerfulness of these agents that we're seeing down the road, right? And so one of the key things that we did within ATB in partnership with the Responsible AI Institute is that we ensured that we helped get a multi-tiered, multi-functional team going, which included our ethics team, our privacy team, as well as all the way up to our C-suite as well, just to understand the powerfulness of AI, but also ensuring that one is we help set the foundation and focus at ethics, bias, and some of the key guiding principles that you want to have as goalposts as you introduce AI were introduced from a foundational perspective. And so that was one of those key decisions that we made a few years ago. And it forced us over the last couple of years to really invest in our foundation. So that also includes data governance, because when reading that article in Forbes, is the AI agents will only be as powerful as the data that they're consuming and working within their workflows as well. And I think one of the key pieces that we're going to talk about today too is the education for our team members as well, because when new team members are introduced to AI, unless there's some knowledge or training involved in that aspect, there's a little bit of fear of how does this impact my work. And so I think one of the key things that we also did, and we just introduced some generative AI tools within ATB, is we worked very close with our HR team so that we understood that there is a fairly significant change management aspect that ties to introducing AI from an agent perspective to help improve the experience for our customers, the operational efficiencies, as well as the overall performance of our team members.
Yeah, you bring up a really good point, Jeff, that education is critical as we're discovering just where the ecosystem is heading, especially all this talk about AI agents and what's ahead of the next decade. You look back and you see how far we've come over the course of the past 10 years. I wonder where we're going to be at in the next 10 years. What new skills will financial professionals need to effectively work alongside AI agents in the next
I think
decade?
the one piece that the next generation of that talented financial professional is really looking at leveraging the powerfulness of these AI agents. And so there's some key things you as an individual have to invest in yourself, right? Or we need to invest in our team members. The first is that data literacy piece, is that making sure that our team members understand the importance of the data that they're going to be asking the AI agent to process from a transactional perspective. So understanding how we consume the data, how we use it within our systems as well, just so that with the powerfulness of AI as often as how well you can ask the questions to the agent. If you improve the way you ask the questions to the agent, the more powerful the agent will be for you. The other piece is being open to change, right? This is going to change the ways of working for our workforce, which sort of ties back to the previous question where I talked about really ensuring that your HR department is involved, because not only is there going to be the technology aspect, but there's also going to be the changes of the day and life of each team member of how they work each and every day. I think the other piece that's going to be quite critical is your problem solving and critical thinking skills. And so you have to think about is that these agents are here to help you provide better customer service and improve your performance as a team member. So leverage them as much as possible, and no question's a bad question. And the more and more that you start leveraging these agents as they learn, the more and more you're going to find that you're going to have quicker resolution for your problems and probably more accurate results when you're that human in the loop that's involved with the interactions with those agents.
That actually leads to another question that I have. Personally, do you think that it is important for us to kind of lean into this new technology that is emerging? And exactly as you were saying, to serve as that human loop, how essential would you say having that human interference is, especially as AI agents become much more prevalent?
I think it's one that we put into our foundation with leveraging generative AI technology, right? And we even leveraged with our partnership with Responsible AI Institute is incorporating within our acceptable use policy the do's and don'ts of when you start leveraging AI from a job performance perspective. I think the key piece too is that the agents are there to help provide you information to help improve decision making, but there's always that human aspect where they're only as good as the data they're consuming based on the questions you're asking. And so I think one of the powerful pieces too is that it's going to create efficiencies from cycle time, turnaround time, but ultimately there's still a human that needs to make the decision. Is this the right answer that I want to proceed with on a go forward basis as well? And I think the key thing is it helps build trust with the team members as long as there's still that human in the loop aspect. As for instance, in the Forbes article, they're talking about instructions to agents, right? It's if it looks like it's the right instructions, and you have to have some background from the enterprise processes for the work that you're having the agents do to say, yeah, you know what, that makes sense. I used to do that before, and the results are very similar, or sorry, not similar, are the exact answers that I would have expected if I did that as well. I think the other pieces too is it builds a better way of communicating with the agents over time as well as you learn from a human aspect is how you can tweak your questions a little bit where you're going to get a better answer or more details that are going to help you provide better customer service for either the internal customer that you're servicing or ultimately the external customers that you're working with. And I think the key piece with these agents is that they're here to improve you from a performance perspective. And so that's the reason why the human in the loop aspect is really powerful is that ultimately you're helping them provide you coaching or be that co-pilot for you. But ultimately, you're still the face of the organization when you're dealing with that internal stakeholder, internal customer, or the external customer as well.
Yeah, you make a really good point, Jeff, that at least I see as things continue to evolve that there will still be that need for human communication, that human touch that I don't think AI agents will be able to fulfill, at least in the near future. Maybe many years down the line, maybe closer than we think. Who knows?
Yeah,
Uh,
it's hard to
but
say.
that,
Yeah, you're right.
yeah, yeah. I guess kind of on the flip side of innovation, of what people are talking about is the regulatory side as well. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. In addition, when speaking about AI agents, what do you foresee are some of the regulatory challenges that we might face as it relates to AI agents beginning to perform tasks that are traditionally done by humans?
I think some of the key pieces that if we sort of look back and there's foundational data governance ones as well is privacy is one of those key ones and from a data security standpoint ensuring that the agents are aligning to your data loss prevention, your security policies, or the privacy laws or regulations that you as an organization have to align to abide to as well. I think one of the other challenges we're going to see with this exciting evolution is that the regulatory landscape is going to be lagging compared to the technology advancement. And so that's where you have to take a bit of a cautious approach as you're introducing some of these tools and technology into your organization is be very forward looking, is looking at standards like the ISO 42001 standard that's being introduced. Keep an eye on the regulations that are within the various legislature areas that maybe your organization abides by. We have a couple in Canada that we're keeping a close eye on that are pending going through and being approved, and really ensuring that there's flexibility with how you're implementing it, but also aligning to those principles, because all that has to happen, and unfortunately we see this quite a bit in the industry, is there might be a bad actor that does something bad in a different industry, and then all of a sudden we see an increase in regulations, really to ensure that there's that consumer protection, but also ensuring that as we introduce AI, it's really going to help ensure that there's that consumer confidence that we've implemented the right protocols and frameworks and policies within your institution to align to those regulatory practices. It ties a little bit too back to when we talked the data literacy piece too, is that our team members, not only our agents, have to understand the various privacy and regulations we have to abide by. And sometimes is when you sort of put your hat on, the old ways of working is cutting corners. Sometimes might have been the old way of working, maybe when it was paper based back in the day, but more and more that we're leveraging this evolution in AI, is the more and more we have to understand those protocols, because the bots are going to be, or sorry, the bots or the agents, bots or agents are going to be trained to ensure that they're aligning to those. And so that's where you have to ensure you're asking the right questions, but also acknowledge that they might not have all of the information available to them because of our privacy standards that we're trying to abide by as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what 2025 brings as it relates to AI agents in the financial industry, but across many other industries as well. Jeff, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to join us today to walk through all of this. And not only for taking the time, but I also really appreciate your work in the responsible AI space. It's because of leaders like you that the rest of us are able to develop an understanding, or at least a foundation of an understanding of what's happening. So I can't thank you enough for joining us. Before heading out, where can our listeners find out more information about you and the work that ATB is doing?
Well, the easiest way is the atb.com. We also participant with the Responsible AI Institute, of course. And we also have a lot of team members, and we're geographically located in the province of Alberta in Canada. So we're a subsidiary of the government of Alberta, but we have agents that are located throughout Canada. And I'd say as the other ways is looking for localized conferences, or feel free to reach out. Look us up in LinkedIn, look up our profiles, and we're one of those is we like sharing best practices, best ideas, and also learning from others from a like-minded perspective as well. So atb.com if you want to learn a little bit more about ATB Financial, or feel free to reach out to myself. You'll see a team member underneath me, Yukon Zhang, who's the president of the Women in AI for the Calgary chapter. So we're very present in our geographical area to help instill and grow AI and ethical AI within the province of Alberta.
Wonderful. Well, I'll make sure to include those resources in our show description. So, viewers out there, all you have to do is scroll down, click those various links provided. I highly recommend it. Jeff, thank you so much again for joining us.
Thanks, Patrick.